Africans, making sense out of the nonsense.
All about the truth, nothing but the truth.
Exactly.
So help us.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a lot of things that don't make any sense to so many people, including ourselves. So here we talk about it and try to find a way how we can bring people, countries, men, women, children, friends together.
Together, yeah.
Exactly.
Welcome to Africans. We are here at the Knox studio. I am Per Fur, and this is the Martin and Per Show. Nice to see you, Martin. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, and it's a beautiful day in June. Today we have something to talk about that concerns everybody. Water. I mean, what is it? Of course, it's consists of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen, and it's described as an colorless, odorless, transparent liquid that forms the seas, the lakes, the rivers, and also comes in the form of rain and snow. Without water's no life. What do you say, Martin, about water?
Well, I'm so glad that we're going to have a chance to have a discussion about water. Everything that we see that is alive is a container of water. It is very important to us as human beings, but all living things. And I'm very excited to have this discussion.
If you read about it, the human body for a grown-up consists of about 60%, and for a newly born, it's up to 80%. And so far I read, the brain consists of up to 90%.
Wow,
so I
that's
guess
great.
It's very important to process the things we eat. I mean, to get energy, we need water. The cells need water.
Yeah.
Where is it? So it's actually in the cells and between the cells, and some part is also in the blood. So, I mean, if you get dehydrated, you are in deep water, so okay. Over to you.
Water, it is such an amazing substance. I've heard that it is the only substance that can change, become hard, it can become soft, and it can even turn into, how do you call it, moisture or air?
Yeah, vapor or
vapor, yeah. So, it changes in so many different forms. No other substance does that. It is soft. It always finds the easy way out. I mean, for example, if you try to block it to go somewhere, it will always find a small, tiny way to go through. So it is very flexible. Do you remember when we were trying to fix the bathroom?
Yeah, I mean, we had a project to take away rock in the basement to make more room for a spa, for a sauna and showers and so on. And after taking away the rock, before the water was running through the rock and under the house, and when you take away the rock, of course the water comes. And we did all to drain the water. We have a special pump, but it kept going up. And when it rained, there was a flood inside the house, but we managed to get it flowing underneath.
Very good part, because I thought, that could be a very good explanation how flexible water can be and how costly sometimes it can get when it refuses to do what you want.
So that leads me to the question, where does it come from in the beginning? I mean, some people say it's come from asteroids or comets, or it's been there all the time, and some people say it's from inside of the earth,
Wow,
and it's an endless
fantastic.
resources that moves in a circular movement. What do you think on that, Martin?
I saw a documentary once, I think on YouTube, but they were trying to explain how the earth was created. And this is what I believe, that all water we have on earth, it was here from the beginning of the creation. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Africans.
There's an enormous power in water. And the story about the Bible when it rains for 40 days and flooded the whole earth. So I guess that's been happening over the times. The water had flushed away everything to give birth to a new era.
I think that makes a lot of sense. It's like some sort of a mechanism. Every time the earth wants to cleanse itself, water is like its number one tool to balance itself or cleanse itself. Of course, you're going to see floods, storms, making sense out of the nonsense.
Yeah. When you said that, the first thing I thought about was Dylan, hard rain's gonna fall.
Ah.
And there's so many songs connected to the water, and especially rain and different forms of water, and it brings out so many different emotions. There's the song Regnet bara öser ner. That was Swedish.
Oh, okay. No, but our listeners too, speak Swedish too.
Yeah, I know. Hello, everybody out there.
Vi kan prata lite svenska nästa gång.
That's very good.
Yeah.
If it's so that the water is an endless resource, can you imagine that 1/3 of the world's population don't have access to clean water? That's a quite big issue.
Yeah.
So that's a mission to do something about, I think.
It is surprising that we as mankind have not figured out a way to organize ourselves that everybody around the world gets a chance to have access to clean water, every day. I think it is critical if water is life, and if we convince ourselves that we want to save many lives, I believe, finding ways to give people pure water around the world should be the first step.
I mean, we are privileged in this part of the world. We just go to the kitchen or bathroom and turn on the tap, and we take a shower or we drink it. And but what if, for some reason, someone turned off the tap and we didn't have any water? What would you do, Martin?
I would be in panic, because water to me is like air. Can you imagine you wake up one day and you can't breathe? You not having water, of course, to create a lot of panic, not only for me, but around the world.
I mean, if for some reason the water in our tap would be polluted in some way, could anyone be that evil?
Making sense out of the nonsense.
I believe it still have remains of heavy metals, medical waste, and all kinds of stuff. What I did, I bought it's a plastic thing with a filter. So you fill it, you go to a lake, then you fill it with water, and you press the filter. Then the water should be instantly purified and drinkable.
But that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
However, I have a funny question. That machine of yours, Father, you're talking about, the filter, if I piss in it, can it clean my water, then I drink it?
I guess so.
Making sense out of the nonsense.
By the way, your morning urine is supposed to be also a liquid that you could drink, or it's supposed to be very clean, especially in the morning.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. But I haven't started that routine. No.
But Paul, we could go back to what you just said. I mean, if my body is releasing this water in the morning, shouldn't that water have toxins in it before we advise anybody to drink it? Oh, by the way, guys, this is a show called Making Sense Out of the Nonsense. So whatever you hear here, we are just trying to make sense out of it.
I mean, the process in the body, you take in water and the water is there to process the food, so you get energy to the body. The body releases the water in the form of urine. So I guess the body thinks this shouldn't be in the body no more.
Exactly.
So why drink it once again? Yeah, making sense out of the nonsense.
Indeed.
Another thing that I would like to discuss with you, I learned about this guy, Wim Hof. He's called the Iceman. So I started taking cold showers. And from the beginning of this year, I also started to take cold bath. I mean, in really icy. I mean, down to 0. The first time it was a snowy morning. Me and my friend, we went there and said, "Should we really do it?" "Oh yeah, we do it. Let's do it." And we did it. And afterwards, you get that mixed emotion. Of course, you're freezing. Your hands are numb.
Yeah.
But afterward, there's a exuberating feeling. You feel life. You really feel life flowing through your veins. And then you feel you're almost invincible. And then we started to do this almost every morning.
Because the body is used to...
Yeah, used to it. But still, people will say, "Oh, you're crazy. It's I won't go near the water until it's up to 18 or 20 degrees."
But that's good, because I had somebody to say that actually what you're doing with your friend is very healthy for the body, because the body needs that kind of shock once in a while in order for it to maybe reset, the cells.
Making sense out of the nonsense.
Because remember, we as human beings, we have been here for a very long time. Before we never had any pants, we used to run around in the bushes naked. So
Yeah.
of course it used to rain and all that stuff. I mean, how did we survive? Well, I know we used to have a little bit fur on our bodies, but it was not that much. So it's a very good point, but I think, most of us should start to jump into cold water every morning to awaken up or reset, the DNA in our bodies.
Yeah, when you read about it, it says that it reorganized or it work with the vascular system, whatever that is.
Okay.
So, but it has very positive effects on our immune system. For myself, I haven't been sick since I started this ice bath or cold showers routine.
Well,
Making sense out of the nonsense.
When you step into the cold water, the first thing you do, you do a deep breath as an anchor. You always have the breath to grab hold on it. I mean, there's a saying, just take a deep breath.
yeah, take a deep breath.
So, yeah, in our hectic times, we often tend to do this shallow breathing. So we have to take the breath down into the stomach and make it circular, as Wim Hof says.
And help the blood and, saturate properly.
Because most symptoms are due to stagnation. The blood and the water and everything have to move, and you have to do that. You have to move the body, and sometimes you have to shock it and go into the cold water.
Wow.
Yeah!
Yeah! Making sense out of the nonsense.
What more do we have? I mean, have you heard about the Matsuru Emoto?
Yeah. I watched him once in this documentary called Water. And I think he was one of the scientists who was explaining what they have found out in the labs after they have been studying water, what it can do, and how it affects all of us and every living thing. It was a very good documentary. He's a smart man.
Yeah, I mean, I saw he did this high-speed photographing of water, and for one experiment, he played hard rock music. And then the molecule, all of the water turned into very abstract forms.
Yeah.
Then it's also personal if it looks good or beautiful or disgusting. I don't know. That's up to you. But then they played classical music. Then it forms to more so-called beautiful forms.
Yeah.
So it has that effect on water. And also what I found out, tears have a different shapes depending on the emotion where it came from. So happy tears have one form and sad tears.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. I find it very disturbing. We have not spent so much time and money to really understand water, if it affects us that much. And the sad thing, that documentary we looked at on YouTube, very few people have even watched it.
Yeah.
Yet this is the most important thing in our life. So isn't it funny, Paul? We spend more time looking at comedies. Yes, of course, we are trying to run away from our problems or nonsense. Yet the most important things that we should all be aware of
Yeah.
Actually, very few of us have the time or the energy or the interest to do some research about it, which means it is our fault if you drink bad water.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, from that point, I had one other question. Have you heard of, the saying that every human being needs to drink at least how many? 5 liters a day? Or is it 1 or what?
I guess it depends on the climate. I mean, is it 30, 35 degrees Celsius, and you're out in the sun, you get dehydrated, so you have to drink 3 to 4 liters. But there's so many different opinions. Some say you should drink all the time, and some you should only drink a large amount of water. Then you should drink when you feel thirsty. So I guess the body is so intelligent. So I believe in that you should drink when you feel thirsty, because it's a signal. The body always tells you what to do.
I drink water, but I don't drink it that much. I don't think about it. I only drink it if my body demands it when I'm thirsty, as you said yourself.
You have all this fruits and vegetables that are filled with water. For instance, melons, 90% water, salad, 95%, spinach, 94%, pineapple, 86%. I mean, whether you get the exact figures, I don't know. But there are so many good things, fruits, vegetables that are filled with water. It's another form to fill your body with water.
All food, is water.
Yeah.
Of course, unless you make it very dry, but it is still water. That's why I don't drink so much water, because I have already compensation from the food. Yeah, maybe that makes sense.
Yeah, it could be so.
Making sense out of the nonsense.
Good.
And we were talking about the different forms that water can take, and also the different emotion that it can express by its form.
Yeah.
Even more interesting thing that I found out, that water has memory. What do you say about that?
That is very impressive, but I'm not surprised, because if water is the source of life, when you think that deep about it, it makes sense.
Wow, nice. I listened to a guy from India called Sadhguru, and he has this very good words on the YouTube, of course. Right now he's doing a mission to save the soil, traveling around the world and promoting the soil. If the water is life, another thing that's very important, the soil. It needs water to work together, and it gives life. So it's a thing that we should bear in mind. And talking about memory, I have another question to you. Do you have any special experience with water?
Yeah, it tastes good when I drink it.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I have a traumatic experience. I nearly drowned. Since that day, up to this moment, based on my age, I don't even know if I even want to try to swim. Because I feel like I've already passed that age of me learning how to swim. But all my life too, I've grown up, afraid of water. I mean, going in it, I like to drink it. But swimming and doing all these funny things, diving, I can't do it. And I don't know if I'm ever going to do it. Because first of all, I don't even have the passion for it.
Wow, that's sad to hear, but I also have an experience. It's quite similar, because when I was 5 or 6, I was going to swimming school. In the water, some guy pushed my head below the water. Wow. And I got panicked. And so it took me very long time to manage to stay underwater. So I got this fear of being underwater. So maybe that's why I'm taking cold swims, and I try to push myself to get rid of the fear.
Okay, because, I was thinking if it was transferred to you, the fear of drowning as your experience, then I thought maybe it was transferred to you through DNA, right?
Yeah, it could. Some people say that this thing that we get from our parents through the DNA, whatever, that is only 2 or 3%. So, I mean, I don't know.
Making sense out of the nonsense.
There are so many nice things to talk about with water. I mean, it's...
Yeah, it tastes good.
Yeah. I was having a special time with my little granddaughter, Lovisa, walking outside, and it's been raining. In another situation, she would have jumped into the water, doing the splash, 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 splash. But now she had put on new shoes, pink shoes. Yeah. So he said, "Grandpa, you jump in the water." So I had to do the stunts for her to jump in the water. Oh, one more time. So I had to stand there, jump into the water. Yeah. I said, one more time. She's a little bit more than 2 years. It's a golden age. It's a pure joy to be with her because you're very much in the now. So one moment, do that, and say, oh, look at that ant, and now I want ice cream. I mean, it's fantastic word to enter. I'm very privileged.
Playing with water.
Playing with water.
Isn't it funny why kids love water? It is very interesting because most of them are very, impressed and amazed by water. Like somehow they still have the memory because they were in their mom's womb not long ago, and that is a container of water too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they get connected to water a lot, Mostly those 1, 2, 3, 4 years, even when you're giving them a bath, they tend to like, the bubbles, and they want to stay there forever. I don't know if you have had that experience, because I had that with my daughter, she used to enjoy, taking those baths, but sometimes she never even wanted to leave, the bathtub.
I mean, I guess it's... I don't have a memory for being in my mother's womb, but it must have been a safe place, the feeling of a safe place. Yeah. Then you're pushed out into something, and then you start screaming, ah! It must have been a scary experience.
I think that's why we even forget, those few months in the womb, because, in the womb you have been at peace, you can hear your mom, and then one day you're out, you have all these crazy people standing in white, gowns or whatever dresses, that is if you can see anything. Actually, it's a dramatic experience and very exhausting for all of us coming to this earth.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Shall we wrap it up and say thank you for today, and drink a lot of water, do some ice bath or cold showers, or boost yourself, and have a good day, have a good life, and all the love and all the power.
Yes, power to you all.
Afropean.